Hi everyone, I'm Daniela, and today I'm going to show you how to make the crispiest on the outside, softest on the inside bread rolls. To a large bowl, add 2 grams, half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. You can also use fresh yeast in this recipe, but you'll want to use 1 teaspoon or 3 grams. To the bowl, add 210 milliliters, 3/4 cups plus 2 tablespoons of water. If your kitchen is very cold, you'll want to use warm water. Otherwise, room temperature will be fine. To the mix, add 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of sugar. The sugar helps the yeast to become active. Give that a mix until the yeast starts to dissolve and you see bubbles forming on the surface. Once all of the yeast has dissolved, it's time to add in your flour. You'll need 320 grams or 2.5 cups of bread flour. Add in 1 teaspoon, about 4 grams of salt. It's important to add the salt on top of the flour so that it doesn't kill the yeast. And then just stir to combine. I'm using a dough whisk, but you could just as easily use a wooden spoon. Once your dough has come into a shaggy ball, start mixing it with your hand so that it becomes a cohesive dough. Form your dough into a ball and place it in the bottom of your bowl. It will still look a little bit rough. Cover your dough and let it rest for 30 minutes. You'll see your dough has settled and risen just a little bit. Now we're going to perform a few folds. This is what creates the structure of the bread. With very wet hands, reach into your bowl and pull up the top edge of your dough. Give it a little wiggle and then fold it back over on itself. You'll want to do this for all 4 corners of the dough. Make sure to keep wetting your hands through this process. It will stop the dough from sticking to your fingers. Once the dough ball starts to feel a little bit tight, we're going to do a few slap and folds straight in the bowl. Again, with wet hands, pull the dough out of the bowl and then slap it back on itself. You'll want to continuously fold the dough over onto itself for about 30 seconds to a minute. We use this process in place of kneading. It just saves your arms a little bit. You'll notice after we've done these slap and folds, your dough looks a lot smoother. Pop it back in the bottom of the bowl and let it rest again for another 30 minutes. Our dough has almost already doubled in size and it's looking really smooth. With wet hands, we're going to repeat the folding over process and then the slap and folds one more time. Once you've completed your second set of folds and slap and folds, you'll want to cover your dough back up and let it rest for 2 hours. And while you're waiting, why not hit that subscribe button and watch a few more of my videos? Your dough should be practically tripled in size by now. Liberally flour your work surface and then turn out your dough. I've formed my dough into a really rough rectangle and I'm just going to fold it over on itself so it makes it easier to cut. If you have any really large bubbles, make sure you pop them. Now cut your dough into 6 equal pieces. You can be really particular about it and weigh out your dough pieces, or you can just eyeball it. We're going to take each of these pieces and roll them into balls. Clear some of the flour off of a section of your work surface. Place your dough down onto the work surface and start pinching the top edges into the middle so that it begins to create that ball form. Roll the ball under your hand with just a little bit of pressure so that it creates tension against your work surface. This is why we removed some of that flour earlier. You want to keep rolling until there's no seam at the bottom. Set that dough ball aside and roll out the rest of your pieces. Let the dough balls rest for about 10 minutes, just to let the glutens relax a little bit. Now we're going to form our dough balls into our buns. Flatten your dough ball down into a little mini type pizza crust. It should be about 2 centimeters thick. Then with the edge closest to you, start rolling and pinch the dough down into itself. Pull back slightly and continue that roll, pinching with every single section. The pull back and pinch creates tension on the top of the dough, which allows our dough to spring up when we put them in the oven. Once it's completely rolled up, I like to give each of my ends a little roll to give that tapered finish. Place your dough in a deep pan, one that you can fit a lid on top of. I've lined mine with parchment so that I can easily pull the bread out when it's finished. Cover these up and let them rest for another 30 minutes. Preheat your oven to 220 degrees Celsius or 440 degrees Fahrenheit. It's time to score. Using a razor blade, a bread lom, or a really sharp knife, slice down the center of each bun. You want to go fairly deep so that you get a nice spring, and make sure you go from end to end, leaving about 2 centimeters on either side. Sprinkle some water over the top of your buns. This creates steam in the oven and really helps to promote that rise. And finally, dust the tops of your buns with a little bit more flour. Place the lid on top of your baking tray and pop these into the oven. These are going to bake for 20 minutes with the lid on. This is going to cause those water droplets that we added to create steam, and that allows the buns to become really nice and fluffy. After 20 minutes, turn down the heat to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit and remove that lid. They're going to bake for a further 10 minutes. I love the sound of the bread singing fresh out of the oven. You'll know they're done when you get that nice hollow tap, tap, tap on the underside of your bread. It's okay if they touch a little bit. Most breads in bakeries do. They're so crunchy, and look at that beautiful soft crumb on the inside. And what goes better with bread than homemade jam? You have to try my super easy small batch recipe linked here. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.